Tin Kyungishan Dojian.
This is the most generic "let's do it" I've ever delivered, I think. But I mean it. I really am excited. Really am excited. And here we go. Here's one of our first players, our pink Protoss player, apparently from the team Vile. It is State. What?
A little Vilo hate right now. Okay. Anyway.
Oh wow. All right. Well, there you go. Everybody hates Vilo. And moving on, we've got our teal Terran player from the team imbaFXO. It is Strelok. These guys shouldn't distract me during the intro.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so here we have it, guys. Now on Terminus, I mentioned before, very large map. Of course, the newer version of Terminus, we said before. So you take this little spot outside of your natural, close off this attack path, and you actually guard yourselves 3 bases pretty well, as there's no ramp into the 3rd. So there we have it.
Yeah, I definitely like the changes that they made on this map over time. I like the rocks preventing you from taking a really fast 3rd.
Right.
But I also like that they turned the ramp into a sort of a ledge, so you can't quite attack through the 3rd as well, too. So, I mean, it makes it a little bit safer, but it also slows things down a little bit. So I think it kind of promotes a bigger variety of styles on this map.
And I think it promotes a little bit of 2-base aggression as well. On the previous versions of the map, as you're alluding to, when you had the open 3rd, it was really easy. I've only made 4 Marines now, but let's take a 3rd base. It's fine. It's no big deal. I'll just go ahead and get it done with and out of the way.
Right.
Now, though, 4 Marines take about 1.5 years to go through these destructible debris, and so you actually have to commit enough stuff to it and enough time to knock those down that a lot of people kind of go, well, I'm sitting on these 2 bases. I've got an opening for an attack right now. Let's just go ahead and play a little bit of 2-base action.
Yep, no, a lot of Zergs were taking a really fast 3rd on that too, and there was some thought in the community that that was a little bit too strong. I know a lot of pro players had that opinion. So then these changes happened, and since then I think the map has definitely improved too. So
certainly. Because, you know, once you go past a little bit of aggression in the big game or something like that, this still is an extremely large map. Even in these positions, it'd be pretty easy for State to take the expansions off to the left and Strelok to take the expansions around the top, cutting the map in half. So we could be in store for a nice long macro game.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll certainly find out.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what Strelok's going to decide to do with his TVP. I mean, seeing him go mech in his other matchup kind of gives me this sort of like hope deep inside that he'll try to go mech in TVP. I know we're probably not going to see that because mech in TVP is generally just bad right now. But
all right,
still,
back off, Artosis.
I can hope.
It's
I can
okay.
Hope. What? Huh? It's just the truth, man.
That's true.
I like mech, but it's just bad right now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he likes it, but he advocates it right now. We'll see how quickly that actually gets adopted. But taking a look at things now for Strelok, 1 Rax gasless FE into double gas immediately afterwards.
Yeah, you never know. I mean,
maybe we will have mech.
The thing is that there are some factory-oriented builds that are viable against Protoss. A lot of that depends on a little bit of surprise too involved in it, but I mean, you can do it. There's a lot of interesting Hellion timings. If you go like double reactored Hellion, we've seen players like the formerly's Next Beyond, now Ghost King Prime do things like that. And of course, you know, we've got examples throughout the history of StarCraft 2 where players have won matches with mech, you know, most famously probably Jinro against MC. Times have certainly changed since then, but you know, the units are still there. I mean, it's still possible.
And look at this, a Twilight Council going down right away for State. So,
pretty quick.
Yeah, he has his pro position to throw it down at Nexus right now, but we're going to look at some pretty quick tech here. Actually, it's an interesting allocation of resources to drop down the Twilight Council and start the Nexus as the Twilight Council is still under construction.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of doing something like a DT expand on this map. It'd be pretty cool, you know, control the middle of the map with the DTs. You can maybe sneak things in there. Oh, Strelok is making 2 factories.
Oh, boy.
Happy day.
There's mech. Oh, and he sees the outline here. The Chrono Boost being expended on the Twilight Council.
Blink. Okay.
Yep, so we're going to have some Blink Stalkers out now.
All right.
You are correct. Double factory.
It's a bit of an odd decision, really, by State. I just, oh, there's the Dark Shrine. Okay, so he actually, State's so smart. I was wondering if he was going to do that. He did cancel the Blink and then went right into Dark Shrine. I had a feeling. I was like, why would you go Blink on this map? But
yeah, definitely.
This makes sense.
Exactly, and this is going to be really clever and cool. Oh, look at that. Even the robotic facility already being proxy. Well, not really proxy. It's still inside of his bases, but it's as close to his opponent's main as he can possibly get. It shortens that distance.
Can have a DT drop.
Exactly, of Warp Prisms making their way across. And yeah, what Doe was referring to, of course, is he wanted to show that the Twilight Council was being used, so Strelok reacted to that, and then immediately turned around and canceled it and put up DTs to confuse his opponent.
Yeah, and you know, if we look at what Strelok is doing right now, he's getting very, very quick siege mode. Kind of an interesting choice there.
Yeah.
Probably see him go Blue Flame after that if he is indeed going to move into mech, which I would think he is because he's making that reactor on the factory and he's moving his barracks away right now to kind of become part of a wall, most likely.
And looks like, yeah, that wall's already going in place right now. We do have an engineering bay just about to finish up as well, so let's see if a turret gets thrown down at the front possibly to ward against DTs, or if it's just going to be used.
He should.
I would assume. I mean, because he's obviously not going for bio upgrades. There we go.
Yeah, you're not gonna you're not gonna go too far into a TVP if you're going mech and not have an engineering bay and a turret. It's just too dangerous otherwise. I think Strelok has read the situation really, really well. You know, he's made some educated guesses and they're turning out to be pretty good. So, yeah, this is going to help Strelok defend against this DT drop really well.
And very quick reaction time from State. As soon as the Warp Prism popped out, it was ready to go with those DTs. It's going to need to take out that missile turret pretty quickly, though, so Strelok is forced to burn scans. And looks like it's just actually going straight after workers as one DT makes its way down to the bottom.
All right. Oh, going after the Tech Lab, too. Interesting decision there with that. Like you said, I mean, he could have killed the turret pretty quickly. Of course, there are scans, so the turret will actually just fine. He's going to go ahead and repair that.
Sure. You know,
one DT evades the scan, though.
Yes, it does. And State's actually playing very smart. He's playing very patiently with these DTs, not trying to overcommit them. Of course, this one, that was bound to happen. He didn't know that the missile turret was sitting down there on the low ground. But he's still, I hear one swiping away, going back after the Tech Lab. I don't know if there's a scan ready, but it looks like those units are going to repair that quicker. Then it can be destroyed.
He's going to get some SCV kills here. And actually getting quite a few kills.
Yeah.
Honestly, Strelok not having... Okay, there he just got the
kills.
Scan energy. Yep, not bad. What's the work count right now?
Let's take a look.
What's the Butcher's bill? 29 SCVs to 46 probes. So, yeah, State definitely doing some damage with that early DT aggression.
This is fun, and going right into charge as well with Immortal, so he'll... he already has one form of Templar out, so he can turn those into Archons if he wants to here in a bit. Of course, in DT form, they are still very, very annoying to your Terran opponents.
This is a pretty strong push coming out for Strelok right now, and he does need to kind of make something happen right now. It's really difficult to go mech with a low economy. Oh, Zealous with the charge already, too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. But State's, all of that technology is coming at a cost, as he has one Immortal and 5 Zealots on the field.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. It's going to be a pretty strong attack from Strelok. And those charge lots are going to get right in on the Marines.
Oh boy, wow! And the Immortal is not taking any damage, and it's just pummeling these tanks.
Yeah, that extra range that they gave the Immortal a patch or two ago has been really helping in these types of situations.
Certainly, it looks like Strelok trying to go around, but State is just continuing to annihilate these siege tanks.
Yep. Well, let's see. I kind of felt like the timing that Strelok moved out wasn't exactly what he wanted to do, but he just kind of felt, I lost a lot of stuff. You know, he did tech aggressively. Maybe I can make something happen, but nope. State making a good decision, I think, with that Zealot charge that really helped him out.
And there is a huge supply advantage for State right now, up by 33 this early on in the game. Yes, of course, Strelok is going after more expensive units and such that occupy more supply, and so he's building his infrastructure a little bit slower, but still, that's a considerable advantage, especially considering the technology that State went into at the beginning of the game. No Robo Bay quite yet, though, so there's not going to be a threat of Colossus for a while.
Yep, and you know, I mean, you can see why people don't go mech quite as much in this matchup. It's not because it's bad per se, even though, well, I guess I said it was bad. It's kind of bad, but
right now it is, yeah.
Really, the trouble with it, why it's so difficult, is because it's so fragile, and there's so many timings that Protoss can use to kind of abuse what you're doing with mech. Mech is a style where you need to be one step ahead of your opponent at every point in the game, and if you're not, it becomes very, very difficult to catch back up again. So Strelok's got his work cut out for him. The game's not over yet, but it's definitely looking good for State.
Yes, it is. And here comes another Warp Prism full of Zealots now. There is quite a bit back at home. Hopefully he can drop directly on top of units and get huge tank splash. Now he's just going to back up, which is probably the smarter decision. There are Vikings being thrown into the mix now for Strelok, though. And already, third base along with a second Robo is coming up now for State.
Yep. Yeah, things are looking really good for the Protoss player. That Stalker's just freaking out, man. He's just so excited to be part of this delegation taking the Zone
freaking
Tower.
out. Man. Anyway.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yes.
I've seen that one.
Yes, it has. Josh just watched it the other day, so now it's stuck in my head. Anyway, Hellions making their way around the left-hand side, and not a lot of damage can be done quite yet. State transferring those probes over a little bit early. Got a few seconds before they're going to be used for anything.
Yep. And let's see, High Templar tech being researched by State too. I mean, that's the interesting thing with that is that Hellions, if you position them okay, if you spread them out so Storm doesn't impact a lot, you can kill Templar off really, really quickly. But
yeah,
I think State's going to be pretty well prepared for that. Oh, nice Hellion drop though.
Yeah, certainly. And let's see how many workers. Ooh, evening up those workers. Lost, as a matter of fact, even taking an advantage after those DT drops at the beginning of the game. So nice bit of economic harassment there for Strelok. Helps him even up that supply a little bit. Back by 18 now, but certainly better than the 33 it was a considerable time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be tough for State to break him right now. I didn't see, did the medevac get away with that
yes,
drop?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's when you're doing mech, you don't have to use too many production cycles on medevacs, so usually try to keep that one alive.
And Blue Flame Hellions, even with the damage nerf, are still extremely powerful against Zealots and a frontline defense. But State has a very nice, very unit composition right now. Of course, that Storm is on the way, like you said before, but he's got to watch out for any sort of Hellions. And here we actually have a 4 Hellion drop that's going to hit just at the same time that State moves out with all of his units.
Yeah, Strelok might want to start sieging those tanks up right now.
And there they are. Hellions being brought to the front as well. There is one Templar in the back. How much life does this... Oh, a feedback would actually kill that that medevac.
Yep, and there it comes closer to the main base right now. Is State going to see it? No, he's not going to see it. Looks like it will be. Oh, he does see it. Needs to drop off those Hellions and run away. Does he save the medevac?
Yeah, it looks like he is going to get away.
Oh, he gets
retreating
the
with everything.
Very nicely done by Strelok. He's going to kill, you know, a couple probes here and there, up to 23 workers killed, but I'd say the big victory there is killing the Templar and getting the medevac away.
Well, the medevac did actually, it was flying across, and State was on top of his game and warped in another Templar at the natural and was able to pick it off then. But look at that, our supplies are even basically. Take a look at the worker count, even there as well. So Strelok has done a nice job macroing himself back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just doing little pokes with those drops, staying safe, kind of turtling up a little bit. That's how you got to do it.
Okay, more SCVs transferring their way over to the third here. And that's quite a few units for our Terran opponent. He's done a good job with the turtling mech game.
Oh boy, a couple of units for Strelok moving up a little bit. Stalker's taking a siege tank hit or two. And I like that Strelok's going into mass Thor production now, just producing a ton of Thors. Those do pretty well against Immortals, actually. Well, once the shields are gone. But see, the idea is that you just do so much DPS that you get the shields down quick enough that you can still kill the Immortals off before they can do too much damage, even with the hardened shields.
Certainly. And we do have double Robos now putting out Colossi with Thermal Lance on the way. And very quickly, we've moved up to a 4-base scenario for our Protoss player. So this has been quite the macro game thus far, and Strelok is actually, no, he is back by 15 supply at the moment. 7 of those are workers, so armies are pretty consistent between our two players.
Yep. Now, let's take a look at the upgrade front for each player. It looks like Strelok's just about halfway done with his +2 weapons, and State is at +2 weapons already for his ground, and he's got +3 on the way. And
Stargate coming up as well.
Yeah.
That guy adds more gateways being added, of course. There's a Stargate sitting at the back.
Yep. Oh, Void Rays can be pretty handy against Thors, and of course Phoenixes can lift tanks too if they're in small numbers. Strelok's got, I think, too many tanks for State to do something like that, but
yeah,
I think what we're going to see is Void Rays against Thors in this case.
Yeah, and they provide a good buffer for the for anything that's on the ground anyway. So
yeah,
let's go ahead and see here as 6 more gateways are being added. That is a lot of gateways, as a matter of fact.
Definitely is. He just wants to be able to remax extremely quickly. He is maxed out right now, so everything is just going to get saved right now.
Yeah, certainly. And he's moving up now with a pretty good force. And Colossi, oh wow, a couple of storms going down on top of the tanks as well. The front line of defenses has actually been eliminated. And wow, he is just clearing this up. Yeah, he is just clearing. Yeah, he is just clearing this up though. A lot of damage being done, and he is going to work his way through the front here to the natural.
Yeah, that scenario looked almost identical to one of our top 5 plays we just released this week. Yeah, and it was against Strelok too, coincidentally.
Yeah, and there is actually a fleet beacon now on the way as well, so it looks like State is going to move into, well, a little bit of supply freed up. Could be carriers, but more than likely going to see a mothership here in a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, if he wants to lose, he can make carriers, I guess. But, no, I shouldn't say that. I mean, players have made carriers and won at certain points. I mean, Hongan Prime has won a game in the GSL with carriers. And
yeah, I guess he has.
It was really lucky, but he won it.
All right. Well, there are a lot of units in production for Strelok, admittedly, but now State is actually maxing on just extremely expensive, high value, but very resilient units. I mean, the damage output against armored units right now is staggering. There are so many Immortals sitting there with +3 weapons. He has an enormous amount of Colossi coming up. There's the mothership that's going to cloak everything. So,
yep. So things looking a little bit grim for our Terran play right now. I mean, that's the thing, is that late game Protoss tends to do really, really well against mech.
Sure.
You know, a lot of their compositions are quite good, but
that is true.
Oh well.
Oh well, indeed.
Oh well. As a mech lover, it hurts me to see this, but
yeah,
just kind of how it is right now in StarCraft 2. You know, we'll see what happens once Heart of the Swarm picks up.
Right. +1 air weapons coming up now for State. Hasn't built any other air units, of course, other than the mothership that'll be sitting there. Of course, +1 weapons is not going to make that big of a deal with the mothership. You use it for other purposes other than its DPS.
Yeah, we saw State freeing up a little bit of supply there, throwing his zealots into that siege tank line of Strelok just so he can make some more stalkers, as we can see here. 12 more getting warped in right now.
Wow. Yeah, that is an enormous number of gates. He is well ahead of Strelok right now. Strelok just struggling to find a place where he can actually put down a 4th base.
Yeah, it's tough. Looks like he's going to try to expand to this sort of right side pocket expansion. And, you know, it's a good place for him to go to be defensive about it, but I think it's still going to be really tough to hold. I mean, State's got an army that can basically walk all over Strelok right now.
Oh, wow. Sacks a bunch of probes there so we can free up some supply and sees the next base sitting down as well.
Yep. That just got him, you know, a number of new Archons, or just Templar if he decides to. Oh, boy. It's the Graviton Catapult. You know what that means. We may even see some carriers this game. We'll have to see.
Well, I figured that +1 weapons was going to go to something, but who knows? All right, well, here come the Colossi now, actually starting to siege up the siege position, incidentally. And the Vikings are sitting there up at the back. I don't know if he's caught a glimpse of the Mama ship yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's seen that, like you said, quite yet. And when he does, I mean, he's going to be okay. He's going to have some scans. He's got, I believe it's 4 orbitals right now. I think all of his bases are orbitals, so
yeah,
he should have a scan somewhere in that to see things.
And let's see here. I imagine he has plenty. Yeah, there's plenty of energy on his orbital commands right now, despite the fact that he can spam down a few mules. And 1 Colossus and 1 Immortal sitting in the back and rip through a lot of Hellions. That Immortal actually thinking it's Lucky Stars that it wasn't revealed, but now it is. Yep. Sad times.
Yep, more and more Thors being produced by Strelok right now, and it looks like State's not going to wait. He's moving in.
All right, starting to go for it now. The Templar in the back. Throw down their storms to drive off the Vikings, and that's going to allow the Mama ship to move up. And, wow, just pretty much everything is being destroyed right now. There's a Vortex hitting a bunch of tanks as well, and State has just completely cleaned up this army.
Why not, man? I mean, those Immortals do so much DPS that base is just annihilate. Everybody jump into the Vortex. All right.
Yeah, and everything gets... Oh, State just lost another 20 supply.
Insta-gift, yeah. So it looks like about 100 supply ahead right now for a Protoss player. He's just going to pull back, probably just re-max, consider pushing the natural. He doesn't really need to. You know, he's got the game won as long as he plays safe.
Definitely. And, you know, he just warped in 12 Stalkers at once and produced 3 Immortals simultaneously. So I assume his production is well in hand right now. And Strelok, the great Terran player from imbaFXO, looks like he is going to go down here pretty soon. Feedback's even hitting the Thors, which is a nice touch. I like that.
Yep. Thors have magical energy. That makes sense. Well, you know.
GG. Well played.